In your 20s, it's an awesome time to set up your financial foundations. It's a time to set up the right structure so you can compound your wealth in your 30s and your 40s. So in today's video, I'm going to help out all you 20-year-olds out there by giving you a blueprint of how to set up your financial foundation so you can make some serious wealth moving forward. This video is going to be a long one, so sit back, relax, get yourself a coffee, and let's get going. Hello guys, Brad here from The Guided Investor. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button because I post weekly videos about how you can do more with your money. In today's video, we're focusing on a small group of you. We're focusing on the 20-year-olds out there. I want to show you how to do more with your 20s than just use it as a binge drinking expedition. I want to show you how you can set up your financial foundations so that moving forward, you have the ability to do what you want to do in life. Now, not all the things that I say in this video are going to be relevant to every single person watching this. That's the nature of making these videos. I have to talk in a generalized fashion, which I think is going to apply to most of the people out there. So before taking on any of this advice, just consider the appropriateness for your situation. Okay, without any further ado, let's jump in. The best thing you can do in your early 20s is to get yourself some qualifications. This might be a university degree, an apprenticeship, a diploma. No matter what industry it is that you want to get into, make sure that you get the highest qualification you can for that industry as early as you can. Now you might be sitting there saying,
Brad, getting a qualification is not investing and I'm here to learn how to invest.
Well, bear with me. Getting a qualification is an investment in yourself, and hands down, the biggest asset that you are going to have in your life is your ability to earn an income. Everything else is going to grow from that. Too often I see young people finish school and get lured into a full-time job. To start off with, this seems pretty cool. I mean, you're probably earning about $40,000, which seems like a shit ton of money, and it's way more than your friends are earning because they're studying and working part-time at Macca's. So you can afford to rent a basic house, you can afford to go out and drink on the weekends, and life is pretty good. But guess what? That $40,000 that you earn in the first year is not likely to go up very quickly. Eventually, your mates are going to finish their qualifications, and within no time, they're going to be earning double, triple you. And it becomes very hard later in life to go back and study because you've got financial commitments. You've probably got bills to pay, you might have a family to support. All of these things mean that you can't drop work later in life and go back and study. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be successful if you don't get additional qualifications. Of course you can be ultra successful because at the end of the day, it really comes down to work ethic and your personality. But what I am saying is that if you take an average of the people out there, those with qualifications are likely to be earning a lot more. So do it now, get your qualifications. My next tip is to set up a disciplined savings routine. As soon as you start earning income, I highly recommend that from day one, you put aside 10% of whatever you earn for saving. Treat this savings as a bill. As soon as it hits your account, take the 10% and put it aside. Now, I'd highly recommend that you set up a direct debit in order to do this, because if you rely on yourself to do it every single week or fortnight or however often you get paid, then I guarantee you that it won't get done. By establishing this habit early in life, you're gonna put yourself ahead of so many people out there, because unfortunately, it's really easy to fall into the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. Now, 10% is an absolute minimum amount which you should be putting away. Realistically, I would love to see it get closer to 30%, but I understand that it has to be achievable for people, otherwise you just basically won't start. The next step is to understand the power of compounding. Have you ever heard of a really smart old dude with funny hair called Albert Einstein? I bet you have. Well, Einstein labeled compounding as the 8th wonder of the world, and for good reason. Compounding is bloody incredible. But the only way compounding works is with time, and the good thing about being in your 20s is that you have time on your side. Now, if I said to you that $1 in your 20s is worth a double what $1 in your 30s is worth, would you believe me? Probably not, but let me try and change your mind. If you invest $1,000 at age 20 and you earn 7% per annum, By the time you're 65, you are going to have $23,123. However, if you head off until you're 30 to invest that same $1,000 and you still got 7% per annum, at age 65, you're only going to have $11,506. So by waiting 10 years to invest the exact same amount of money, you are going to halve your savings at age 65. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is compounding, using time to earn you money. So even though you might be earning a lot less in your 20s than you will in your 30s, it really is the best time to start investing because your money is worth a lot more. Now, when it comes to investing, there are a lot of things out there which you can invest your money in. But just keep in mind that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Also, unless you're willing to keep your money in the investment for a minimum of 5 years, then don't invest any money because investments come with risk. My next tip is to buy yourself a house. Now, this might be an old school thing to do, and I've heard all the reasons about why you shouldn't buy a house and use your cash flow elsewhere, but I'm yet to see someone pull that off successfully. The fact is, if you buy a house and have a mortgage, this brings discipline to your financial situation because every time you make a mortgage repayment, you're building up equity in your house, which is like a forced savings plan. Later on in life, you'll then be able to use that equity to boost and build your financial situation further. So in your 20s, you should aim to buy your first house. Now, there is a lot of information that goes into buying your first house, from the process to what you should be looking for to the first home buyer benefits. So I'm not going to go over all of them in detail in this video, but I did do a video a few weeks back about the first home buyer super saver scheme, which I highly recommend you check out, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. Next, you want to apply for a comprehensive income protection policy. Remember back when I said that your ability to earn an income is the biggest asset that you're going to have in your life? And hands down, the biggest asset that you are going to have in your life is your ability to earn an income. Well, I can't stress this enough, and it baffles me that people are willing to insure their cars, their house, their mobile phone, but often they're not willing to insure the one thing that pays for all of these things: their income. Get an income protection policy. Now, not all income protection policies are the same, and you ideally want to get an income protection policy which is going to have a 30-day waiting period and a benefit payable to age 65. The income protection policy should also be medically underwritten, which basically means that you go through a process when you're taking out the cover to answer questions about your medical history. It's important to go through this process when you're young because as you get older, inevitably things happen. You get injuries and illnesses, and all of that stuff forms part of your medical record, and it will mean that in the future, if you go to apply for an income protection policy, you're likely to get loadings and exclusions placed on that policy due to your medical history. So get a comprehensive income protection policy when you're young and healthy. My next tip is to take an interest in your superannuation. A lot of people, when they first start their working careers, they neglect their superannuation. They have no idea what super fund they're with, they have no idea how it's invested, they have no idea what fees they're paying, they have no idea if there's insurance premiums coming out of the fund. Also, a lot of people have multiple superannuation funds floating around, which means that they're doubling up on fees and charges. Your super fund is there to look after you when you're old and grey and no longer working, and the only way that it can do that properly is if you look after it when you're young. I would even go as far to say that when you're in your 20s, you should aim to put a little bit extra into your superannuation. I'm talking $20 or $50 a week or whatever you can afford, because it's going to make a massive difference at retirement due to compounding. Remember what we said earlier? Compounding works its magic with time, and when you're in your 20s, you can't access your superannuation until your 60s, so you have time on your side and compounding is going to do its thing. And the best bit about superannuation is that it's very tax effective. So if you make the right type of contribution into your super fund, then you're going to benefit in the short term from a personal tax deduction. Also, when the money is invested inside your super fund, any investment earnings are going to be taxed at a maximum rate of 15%. So take an interest in your super, put a little bit extra in, and I guarantee that future you is going to thank me for making this suggestion. My last and final tip is that in your 20s, it is the best time to start a business. I'm a big fan and a big advocate of being your own boss and building your own business, and your 20s is the best time to do that. Starting a business is hard work. It takes a lot of time, effort, and energy, and in your 20s, you have all three of those things at your disposal. The other hard thing about starting a business is that you often make less money in the short term. You need time in order to build up your cash flow and build up the steady income coming through your business. So you're best to start a business in your 20s when your financial commitments aren't super high and you have the ability to take some risks. If your business goes belly up, then you have the rest of your working career to make up for it. On the other hand, if you're 50 and your business goes belly up, then you can put a big question mark over your retirement and you may even end up living off the age pension. I truly believe that starting a business is short-term loss for long-term gain. After about 5 years, you should be earning more than you could as an employee, and you should have the flexibility that comes with being your own boss. Now, obviously, make sure that you get some education, qualifications, and experience before jumping into your own business, because these are crucial elements in running and owning a successful business. So there you have it, guys, my tips to investing in your 20s. As I hope you can tell, your 20s really is about setting up your financial foundations so you can build some serious wealth moving forward. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel, and leave a comment down below and let me know which of these recommendations you've personally implemented.